Shanty camps, public defecation, drunken shouting, rubbish discarded in the streets, tents pitched up from across a five-star hotel. No, this isn't Paris, this is London. And it's happening right now in the heart of our capital, right on the doorstep of one of the most prestigious postcodes in the country. London is slowly turning into Calais. A concerned Londoner wrote to the Mayor Sadiq Khan after their child saw the migrant camp on a way to school. And what do you think the Mayor's office had to say to these very valid concerns? Well, his team claim that London draws huge strength from the contribution of migrants, proudly citing the capital's tradition of welcoming migrants and offering sanctuary to those who need it. And that the Mayor is, of course, working hard to tackle homelessness. I'm sorry, what? Open defecation, public disorder, unsanitary conditions, all things noted at this site by Londoners. And the Mayor calls London a sanctuary. A sanctuary for who? People who have entered the country illegally? But there you have it, don't you? No concern for public safety, no concern for the build-up of these shanty camps. I only warned about this last Tuesday, after Patrick showed us those incredible scenes in Calais. Of course, the usual left-wingers stated that this wasn't happening. Well, it is, isn't it? And it's going to get so much worse. Today alone, 828 illegal migrants crossed the English Channel. That smashes the previous record of 705. No, not a record set from last year or a year before that. This is the previous record set in April last month. This year alone, the total of illegal migrants who have crossed the Channel this year is a whopping 13,300, with 20,000 people now here since Keir Starmer took office. To put that in perspective, that's nearly the entire population of Newquay in Cornwall, or an entire British Army division. And just when you think it couldn't get any more barking mad, it literally does. Among recent arrivals, get this, was a German Shepherd. Yes, a dog, smuggled in a dinghy across the Channel. And what did our secure and robust immigration system do? Well, we quarantined the dog, of course, for 4 months, roughly at the cost of the taxpayer to £12,000. His owner is probably doing pretty well too, likely to be housed in one of the thousands of now occupied asylum hotels that the government promised you they would close down when they took office. This country is just becoming a global punchline. And the people smuggling gangs are laughing in our face, in the face of the government, in the face of the people of this once great Britain. The British people are clearly being taken for fools. If this crisis is not tackled seriously by this government, then the consequences for Britain may very well be irreversible. But on that note, let's get the thoughts of my panel. I've got Director of Popular Conservatives, Mark Littlewood, Christian Calgie and Nina Mishkov. Thank you both, or all of you, shall I say, so much for coming tonight. This is pretty damning on the capital. It's quite severe. Nina, is Sadiq Khan right to say London's a sanctuary after we seeing this latest development, people sleeping rough on the streets, tents popping up?
One of the great strengths, as he pointed out, of London is its diversity. It is a multicultural society. It has indeed benefited from all sorts of people, not necessarily illegal migrants, but migrants. I am a migrant. I came from Scotland to London.
You're not a migrant from a different country, though. You're part of the United Kingdom.
I'm from the United Kingdom, but London is a separate issue to the rest of the country. London is like a city-state. London voted differently on Brexit. You know, Londoners feel don't necessarily feel English or Scottish or Welsh. They feel like Londoners. That's why I live in London, because I am a Londoner, and I agree with the principles that we do give sanctuary to people. Having said that, the encampment, of course, is worrying. But then every city in the world, every capital city, you go to New York, you go to Los Angeles, you go to Paris, you know, San Francisco, there are tented encampments. Sadly, there are many, many homeless people around the world, and he has vowed to help the homeless people and clear our streets. But of course it's worrying when you see that.
Yeah, Christian, you wrote this article, I believe.
I did.
You did. Yeah. So we've got the man himself here with us. You know, I appreciate what Nina's saying. We want to be tolerant, and of course people are homeless. It's not a nice situation. I don't want to take away from the fact that people being homeless is not a nice thing. However, you know, it's slightly worrying that these camps are now developing in London, in our capital. You know, 828 illegal migrants crossing the Channel today.
No, exactly. And the thing that really stands out for me with Sadiq's statement and that concerns me, actually, is that I think he will fuel anti-migrant rhetoric with his statement. Because if you don't make a distinction between migrants who come and contribute to the economy and work hard and contribute to our society, and you lump them in the same basket as people who come over illegally, people from Eastern Europe. I think most of these migrants are actually Romanian, so no legitimate asylum excuse whatsoever, who are drinking from 8 a.m, defecating in the street. Then you muddy everyone's view of migrants, and that doesn't help anyone. But it really it makes me very angry. You know, of course we want to deal with homelessness, but that should be, you know, our homelessness, not homelessness that we're importing for no reason. Yeah,
Mark, would you agree with that? I mean, obviously the mayor has said he's got a plan to tackle homelessness, which I'm sure we'll all welcome. No one wants more homeless people. Homeless people want to have shelter. However, we don't know who's going to be prioritising this list. It's like council housing, isn't it? Yeah. British people are often not on the top of the list for council housing.
I mean, it stands to reason, doesn't it, numerically, if you've got 1 million people coming in a year, that homelessness is going to get worse. And I say this with a heavy heart, but I think we've got to challenge this oft-repeated meme that diversity is our greatest strength. I'm in favour of diversity. Like Nina, I like living in London. I think people from different backgrounds have contributed a lot to it. But diversity is not our greatest strength. It's probably not even in the top 10. It's said by left-wing progressive politicians because they wish it to be so, but it ain't. Our greatest strengths are our traditional rule of law, financial services-driven economy, embrace of capitalism, open-mindedness, freedom of speech. All of these are much more important. So, look, welcome one, welcome all. But going to Christian's point, we should invite people in from a wide variety of backgrounds who are net contributors to Britain, not because they want Britain's welfare or even attempt to live on highly expensive land. If you want to come here to work hard, to contribute, to pay your taxes, to build a business, the doors are open. I'm not seeing that that's particularly true of the general majority who are entering the country every year, and it's quite true of quite a lot who are leaving the country to get out.
Can I ask you, these people in tents on Park Lane or wherever it is, what rights do they have? Where are they from? Do we know? Do they have any status at all? Because if they don't have any status, then surely we have the power to move them on, to arrest them, to put them, if they are, going for asylum, to put them into a hotel. You know, not so wonderful, but better than on the streets. Why are we not
Christian
doing
wrote the article there. You give us the insight here. I think they are mainly Romanians. Is that correct?
I think they are. One of my colleagues actually went out yesterday to talk to these people, and I think one of them said, by the way, she was actually chased away with threats by some of them. But before that happened, one of them claimed that TfL police officers are turning up and just not doing anything. There's no action being taken at all, which is why I find Sadiq's statement so absurd. I wanted to also raise another point. As a young person who pays a huge amount of tax and who deals at the forefront of London's rental crisis, which is, we talk about homelessness, we talk about supporting migrants, the amount of London social housing that is handed to people who weren't born in this country is eye-watering. And
if you want to be
compassionate towards homeless people, especially homeless Brits, we need to be actually be cruel to be kind here. Yeah. And we need to say people who were not born in this country should not be accessing social housing in Zone 1 and 2 of central London.
Do you accept that, though, but we should generally be prioritising particularly social housing for British people first?
No, I don't think so.
Wow. I think that will be a really minority view in the country, Nina, by the way. I do believe that.
I'm sure. Well, perhaps it is a minority view, but I don't think we should. I really don't think we should, because people are people. Human beings are human beings. We have to have compassion, and you cannot have a society run without compassion. By the way, Christian, you didn't answer my question. You didn't say what powers do we have to remove these people?
Well, I highly doubt we have any powers.
No, but you did the article. You must know.
The police can't even move on Steve Bray.
Why didn't you ask that?
Well, we have the powers. The truth is we don't have the will.
No.
The police force don't have the will. The government doesn't have the will.
No, never mind the will.
The courts don't have the will.
Do we have the power to remove these people, take them out of the tents and put them somewhere else?
I presume if we offered
Why
them a free...
didn't you ask that,
Well,
Christian?
I haven't been to see them. What I reported...
I thought you did the article.
No. A colleague of mine went to do the article. What I reported
so you did
was
it
this
second-hand?
response... was this response from Sadiq Khan.
So you've got second-hand views?
No, my colleagues went and got first-hand views from these migrants.
Yeah, but you've taken second-hand from them.
I haven't taken anything.
If you're not curious, why didn't you find this out?
I reported an exclusive of Sadiq Khan's response to a child, by the way. This Sadiq response came in regards to a parent who had driven past this encampment with his child on the way to school. The child had said, Daddy, why are these...
Slightly privileged child being driven down Park Lane in a car by their parents.
To school? We have no idea what the circumstances of that child are. But
it's not a council flat somewhere.
It should be the privilege of all Londoners not to have to deal with open defecation of illegal migrants on Park Lane.
I agree, so we should do something about it.
Not handing them a free hotel.
Last word to Mark.
Nina, to your question, we do have these powers. We don't have the will to use them.
But if we have these powers, why aren't we using them?
And oftentimes we've got a legal system that clogs up any exercise.
Yes, but
okay.
that...
Guys, unfortunately, we've got to leave it there. Listen, I'm sure there'll be more time to talk about this story. It's a very good story. Well done, Christian. Sadiq Khan's office has reiterated his position, saying the mayor's position is that London has always been a city that welcomes migrants and provides sanctuary to those who need it. The mayor is clear that we draw huge strength from the contribution of migrants and refugees who want to make London their home. They enrich our society, communities, culture and economy in a myriad of ways, making London a welcoming, diverse and truly global city and bringing cultural energy to Londoners' ever-evolving shared identity.